think we know what the people want. They want to talk about last night's game. Detroit Lions are in action for the very first time this year against the New York Giants, who they've seen in practice for the following couple of days of football. We saw 2 fights. Well, yesterday they won 14-3, talking about the Giants. Anson, you watched the game. What was your biggest takeaway with that game? It is game 1 of the preseason, which we know doesn't hold a lot of weight anymore. What'd you like? What didn't you like?
Well, we've all been waiting for Hendon Hooker.
Okay.
This is a guy that, last year there was so much pressure on this organization to take a quarterback because Jared Goff, as good as he was, didn't deliver the season that he did last year until last year. So at that draft, there was a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of people calling for us to take one.
Could you argue 2 years ago Jared Goff had a really good year and a supremely strong finish?
I've been fighting with the heavyweights and Easy and everybody else. This is our quarterback. Okay. I did not want one. Now, to take a guy in the 3rd round that was firmly in the Heisman hunt, that would have gone top 10 had he stayed healthy, I loved it. And now, fast forward a year, this guy's healthy. If he had stayed healthy or stayed in school and played that last year or this past season, this is a guy that, in my opinion, would have been a top 15, at worst case scenario, top 20 pick. So basically the Lions traded a 3rd rounder last year for a 1st rounder this year. Now, obviously the guy is older. He's 26 now. He was drafted as a 25-year-old coming off of a torn ACL. We haven't had eyes on this kid. And there's been some mixed reviews. When it came to OTAs, we found out that he had a fractured finger on his throwing hand. So that's going to affect a quarterback's play. In training camp, most of the reviews have been pretty darn good. We got a chance to see him last night. And in my opinion, I thought he looked really darn good. He rolled out, made some great throws, some tough throws across the field. He extended some drives with his feet. We also saw him lay a guy out, lay out a safety on the Giants and knock him down. Put him out of the game.
I think we have the highlight, Pete.
I should hope so.
I just got her all set up. You guys ready?
Yeah.
And Hendon Hooker.
Let's take a look at Hendon Hooker from last night. Played 21 snaps. Remember last year he was a 3rd-round pick of the Lions. Right here on this boot, he decides, all right, I'm a runner. He's got the ball tucked in his left arm right here. And he's just looking for a different color jersey just to go, bat. Just to go, bat, left foot, left shoulder. You just see the power Hendon Hooker has. You don't want your quarterback trucking safeties and linebackers like that. But, he wants to get back and feel what it's like to have some contact again. It's been a while. And then he made this throw on 3rd down. 3rd and 5 last night. He just hits Isaiah Williams right here in the shallow cross, right on schedule. Right in front of Dan Campbell, who seemed to like it quite a bit right there. So, last year's 3rd-round pick gets about 20 snaps. Looks pretty good doing it.
And first of all, shout out to the people that stayed with us through the break. We apologize for the technical difficulties. We do appreciate you guys staying with us. Thank you. This is kind of why we do this show. Brian Baldinger is one of the best to do it. I love his breakdowns.
Great.
Got a chance to see Brian Baldinger in New York when I went to last weekend. Kicked it with him. He's always in breakdown form. Like it's never just a regular conversation. Like I go up to him, say, "What's up, Baldy? How you doing?" Like I'm trying to be cool, casual, some casual conversation on the sideline as we're watching practice. "Hey, Braylon, how you doing? Hey, check that out, Gary Wilson right here. Now break it down. What are you?" I'm like, "Damn, Baldy, I'm talking to you. I'm trying to engage with you." But love Brian Baldinger. Yesterday that play happened. Hendon Hooker. Okay. A lot of people have an issue with Hendon Hooker not sliding, with Hendon Hooker wanting the contact. I'll leave it open for you guys. I just phrase it by saying this. You're talking about a guy, the last time he played it down was in college, which was 2 years ago, and finally he's in the game. I think some people need to stop being soft. That's my thought on it.
I agree. Now, there's an in-between, but you're either going to get tentative coming off of a torn ACL, or you are going to get aggressive. Yeah. A guy that's been just chomping at the bit to get back on the field and play. We got the latter. And out of a quarterback, a running mobile quarterback, I don't want to see tentativeness. Now, we'll see if he actually has a concussion, but what I saw out of Hendon is everything that I had hoped for, maybe even a touch more, because he wasn't hesitant, because he was making those throws, because he was lowering his shoulder. I got to say, he looked so good in that uniform. Yeah. And he gave us a look at quarterback man, Andre Ware. Last time we got a chance to see something like that, maybe Mike McMahon, but this guy actually has an arm, and this guy has a presence that, we've compared him to the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love situation that we could be seeing in a few years. I got to say, after yesterday, he might be 28, 29 when it happens, but this is the quarterback for the Lions in the future.
It's funny. A lot of people, I think, will agree with me. Andre Ware was trash. So I hope he's nothing like. At least
Houston.
Exactly. Now Houston, he was a problem. He was a Heisman Trophy winner, but not here with the Lions. KG, yesterday Nate Suffield went. I had his stats over here. I kind of watched the game, but trying to get accurate about it. He was 13-24, 96 yards. Hendon Hooker was 5 of 9, 36 yards, and then 36 yards rushing as well.
Yeah.
Not a lot going on in the game, but enough to kind of see who did you think had a better game, or who looked, or who stood out between the two of you, if either one.
Come on now.
Right?
Listen, I was mad that we had to wait until the second half to see Hendon Hooker because Suffield was just so bad in that first half, man. I don't know what he was doing out there. A lot of reads he just missed, or he was holding on to the ball too long. But what Hendon Hooker showed in a little bit of time, to me, the kid looks confident, man. He looked comfortable in that huddle. He was controlling the offense really well. When he ran out of the pocket, it was at the right times. It wasn't like, oh, he got happy feet and, oh, I'm just going to tuck it and run. He was still looking downfield. These are things that I feel like, they are working with him on, and he seemed to be pretty well. And then him running the ball, of course, looked good. The kid's got to learn to slide. But I feel like he'll get that with more NFL experience. But to your point, he just looked like a college kid out there. He looked like a kid that hadn't played a down since college. He was doing a lot of college-like things out there. And once he gets that NFL, game, he'll realize, like, okay, I need to pick my spots here. I need to, not risk as much.
He wanted to hit somebody. Let's be real.
He did, and he's got dog in him, man.
He does.
I think the Lions do have their number 2 quarterback, man. I don't know if they go out and sign one just because of how bad Nate Suffield was, and then the concussion with him, but I think they're in good hands, man. Hopefully he won't have to hold down the fort too long if anything were to happen to Goff, but I would feel confident that they can come up with something in this offense to make his ability stand out.
And then the more reps you get, the better you are. Like, the more reps you get, you're able to see the game be more consistent. Pete, what about you? What jumped out to you about Hendon Hooker yesterday in that game? You had a decent sample size. What jumped out about him as a player?
Game management. He was able to manage and run the offense. It looks like he's actually very, very comfortable in the offensive scheme, which is actually very, very good. Again, I told you yesterday off camera that I really want to see him push Jared Goff. Okay. I think that just because Jared Goff is your starter and the anointed one, that doesn't mean, in case he is hurt, I want to see Hendon Hooker put up 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
We don't know about I did not see the update on his concussion. There were apparently he did suffer a concussion after yesterday's game. I haven't gotten that tweet up yet, which I had, but I did like the way that he managed the game. His toughness was good, and he is going to need if you're going to win the Super Bowl, you need a solid backup, and I think the Lions do have one.
Definitely need a solid backup. The more reps he'll be able to get, it doesn't seem like Jared Goff's really going to play in the preseason. At least he definitely didn't play 1 and probably won't play 3, so we don't know about game 2. But this is a good time for him to get those reps. And the good thing about it is the way it usually works in training camp, if you ball or if you have a better game than another guy, then usually the next game, they'll rotate the situation. So it'll be interesting to see who plays first next game. And assuming Jared Goff plays, it'll be interesting who plays second in that game.